I have my beanie on because I work in a cafe now. Hello everyone, I'm EJ. You're you. Welcome to my channel. And today, I did it. Aun is done. I'm so happy to be done with this island. Not because I didn't enjoy making it, but just because I am sick of the snow. I am ready to move on to greener pastures, quite literally, because it's going to be in spring, the next island, hopefully. We'll see. Now, Auna is a Irish name. In Irish folklore, it is like this island. It's the home of like the sea god. And it means literally like island of the apples. And my native fruit was apples. And I was like, ooh. And it's kind of like it's like a paradisey place. And I thought that would be fun for this island because this island's theme is Dystopia core. And I was honestly just like figuring out what Dystopia core was as it went, but I had an idea. I knew that I wanted there to be kind of a class difference in terms of the like different sections of the island, because like what's more fun than economic inequality, right? I also really wanted to try making a city core island because I had always kind of made more natural islands, and it was a challenge, but it was worth it. But let me stop talking and I'll actually just like show you the island. Okay, cool, great. So first things first, this freaking flag was made by one of my mods and I love it. It's like inspired by Metropolis, the like Metropolis poster. A lot of like the lore behind the island was inspired by Janelle Monáe's second album, Arcandroid, and that was inspired by Metropolis, or what is it? Yeah, Metropolis, right? No, it was inspired by that. And so one of my mods made this flag, and it's great. Oh, I should show you the map. I'm a professional. I don't know what you guys... So here's my map. Another thing that I did with this island that was kind of fun is like, I actually decided to have people on my island like Limburg and Hippo, who are like people that I actively dislike. Although Limburg has kind of become like a lovable, like he's ugly, but he's like lovably ugly, you know? And I'm like, you know, come on. Hippo, I still hate. I hate Hippo. The best thing about this is that there's a giant section of water in the middle. My other Switch, which I host like a Survivor game on, I only design half of the island. So I got really used to only designing half of an island. And so a full island's actually like a lot for me to take on. And so I remedied that by putting a giant harbor in the middle of it. But yeah, okay, so like the beginning, look, here it is. This was the first build that I ever did was the entrance. I like always start with an entrance just because I feel like that's a very good place to start, you know? You know, there's like some houses, there's like some apartment buildings, yeah, people live here. This whole area, my thought is like, okay, this is like the commerce area. This is where people, you know, when people come to visit the island, they come off the airport and they're in commerce land. So over here is where Abel's is. Abel's has this little like walk up, and then behind their store they have like their factory where they like actually make all of the clothes and things. I wouldn't say it's a sweaty shop, you know, but there's definitely some despicable people on this island. So this sign here, this pattern, I called it no clankers. One of my ideas is that like there's this kind of like tension between the robot villagers and the non-robot villagers, and like the non-robot villagers feel like they're better than the robot villagers because they're not robots. Beaches. Okay, I'll just show you the beaches. I hate doing beaches. I hate doing beaches. This is like the last thing I did because I was just procrastinating. And it's just trash. It's just wheat fields and trash. And then this area was inspired by one of the islands I toured on our tour stream. So this is a community member's island area that inspired this as like a little boat area. And it's like mechanical, and I like mechanical stuff. But continuing on in the commerce area, that goes to the right. So you can keep going here, and then over here is like a little like, I kind of like was imagining this is like a brewery, and like this is like, because you see like there's the tanks and stuff, like they're brewing. Out here is like the nice little area that you can like sit down and like have your flight of beer and sample things. It's cute, it's fun, it's great. And then up here is Tangy's Juice Bar. Tangy's Juice Bar. I love Tangy. Oh, you can't really see her. I have a Tangy put. She's my favorite villager. So she runs like a little juice bar thing up here. I did actually design most of the interiors of the villagers' houses. So if she's here in the dream address, which I don't know if she is, you can check out inside her house. Continuing to the right, this is like our suburby land. Oh my God, hi Sprocket. I do love Sprocket actually. Ugh. This is my experience of Alna, is the highs and the lows. I see Sprocket, who I love, and then I see Hippo, who I hate. Oh, and now they're like kissing. So this is where my Nooks is, and I kind of was just like, this is a 7-Eleven. This is not super city core-y, I think. I feel like this is where it kind of feels like it shifts a little bit into like suburb core-y, but like, you know, the outskirts of cities kind of feel like this. A common theme also is just rust and dilapidation. I really like rust and I really like dilapidated stuff. So there's a bunch of rusty stuff over here. And then this beach is, yeah, it's a trash beach. It's a trash beach. There's some wave breakers, you know, it's, I hate beaches. I hate beaches. But over here, once you come over here, this is our like fish market dock area. So this is like the marina offices, I think. And then over here is like the fish market. And I was really inspired by the Seattle, what the hell is it called? Pike Place Market, where they like, there's just these like big, strong, burly men just taking these fish and just throwing them like, you know? I had an awakening there. And so I was inspired. And then down here we have on this beach, this is like the campsite area. So Rosie over here, I don't think I designed, no, I did. I did. Did I do something to her house? Let's see if I did something to her house. Let's see. Yeah. See, it looks kind of like it's a sea cottage. And famously, I made all of the fabric in here. I made it blue because she's blue. Yes, this is Rosie. So Rosie is in a 3-way relationship with Tangy and also Cherry on our island. They're in a lesbian throuple. It's great. And this is like the camp area. Because I was like, I don't fucking know. I didn't know what to do with the campsite. So I was like, well, I'll make it a campsite. And then Cappen's got his little dock area here. Very cute. And then let's go down the docks. This is one of my favorite builds, actually. The docks are like becoming less and less like relevant in terms of like the progression of the city I'm imagining. And so whereas this used to be like a bustling place of commerce and like a bunch of traders were coming, this isn't really where a lot of the business is coming through anymore. We'll see where it's coming through later. Lord. But so yeah, so there's like empty dock areas here, but then Limburg runs the marina and he has his little houseboat up here. Hey, buddy. And yeah, this is his houseboat and I really like it. And then over here, we have our junk boat. This is just like a junk barge. It's just a barge filled with junk. And then this is the end of the docks and we can see a little bit into the rich people area, but we'll get there. Okay, so you come over here and then like walking along here, there's a TV here. There's a cannon here. Oh my God. And then, yeah, it's beaches. It's just like, what do you do on a beach other than make it a beach? Like Michelle Visage on Drag Race, I just don't like when an area of my island doesn't show any versatility. Okay, so hey, Boomer. No. Speaking of Boomer, this is Boomer's house. So Boomer, in my mind, is like conspiracy theorist. He runs the Junkyard. And he, even though he has an economic interest with like aligning with the robots, because he has prejudice towards the robots, he doesn't want to align with them. So he has like a little no clinker sign, and he's which is like very anathema to like the way that Boomer actually is. He's like a lazy villager who's like lovely. He looks like a conspiracy theorist, so I had him. So he's a conspiracy theorist. He lives here. This is his junkyard. I love his junkyard. Okay, so this is Petrie's. I'm glad that Petrie's home. I liked her house. So this is Petrie's house. Petrie is the doctor of the island, and she is sympathetic towards the robots. She likes the robots. But if you look on the inside of her building, I really liked this house. I was proud of this one. So, okay, so look, this front area, this is like her apartment. It's very small. It's a little claustrophobic, but like this is not what she cares about. Excuse me, babes. And then back here, this is like her office. So this is where she's working on stuff. And if you see in her little tank, she has a robot because she's trying to learn things about the robots and stuff to like help them. But yeah, she's the good doctor. We like her. We love Petrie. She's a baddie. And she's great, and I love her. I feel so bad walking in. Side note, I just feel bad walking into these people's houses and just leaving. I hate having the question mark. It makes me feel bad. And then if we keep going down this road, you can notice that the dilapidation, it starts to increase, okay? We start to get some wheat fields growing up, and this is the road to the abandoned factory. This used to be a center of manufacturing and also of commerce and things like that. No more. It got too expensive to run because the workers needed to be paid living wages, and they said, maybe not. And this is what happened. So the beach, we'll start with the beach because I actually like this beach. I don't like beaches, but I do like beach. And look at this little design. Missing. What? Who's that? Okay, keep going. This is where they do like laundry and stuff. And then a tree. And yeah, I just really love these patterns. You can just also like any design codes in the description. Check it out. This was the build. I was like kind of like, blah, 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 blah. Like, what am I doing with this island? And then when I did this build, I said, okay, I know what I'm doing. The factory has been overtaken and taken over by the robots and Cherry, because Cherry's a friend of the robots. So this is Cherry's house. Let's go inside because I did things. So Cherry like is the gardener of the bunch. So plant life was very politically based for me. In the poorer areas or in like the more middle class areas, there's less and less plant life. There isn't like there's not a lot of bushes. There's mainly like weeds and things like that. There's no trees. But you know, Cherry, I like the idea of Cherry like having a greenhouse and like growing her own things and stuff. So this is her home. She doesn't necessarily live the most luxe life, but she grows things and that's nice. But yeah, so you can see like this used to be a factory. This used to be a factory, and now it's no longer a factory, but it's a place for community. So this is like their fire pit. Over here, this is like their community kitchen where they stockpile resources and share amongst themselves. This is Cephalobot's house. Cephalobot lives down here, and then upstairs on the second level is Sprocket, and then this place. And this used to be someone's house. This used to be Ribbot. This used to be Ribbot's house, but Ribbot has strangely gone missing, and we're like, what's up with that, bro? And then over here, this is like a balcony area, and I kind of like the idea of them like reclaiming this kind of like rusted out, like busted down kind of place, and like I don't know, this is kind of like a whimsical idea that like there's just like kind of this lovely balcony with this great view of the ocean and stuff. But I think I mentioned this too, but like I also like wanted to make a winter island, and I got sick of the winter, but I feel like winter islands are especially difficult to make because it's like just not very inspiring. I wanted an island that felt like it was in winter on purpose and not because it had to be, you know? Oh, the lights turned on. Love that. So then over here, this used to be the parking lot for the factory, right? But now flames on the side of my face. Back here, it's their it's the farm. They made a farm. They're growing their own food. They're off the grid. They're decentralized, all those things. We love it. Also, there is a passageway actually that gets you, and there's thing so you can climb back up here. But that is very difficult to find. But yeah, so that's there. So then coming back down, if you go along this back road, you can see our little Statue of Liberty moment. Look at her. And then, stay away from me. And then over here, this was another part that I said, oh, okay, yeah, I know what I'm doing here. It's the overlook of the rich people town. And I wanted to make a cyber freaking futuristic sci-fi looking skyline. And I think I did. And I'm proud of her. And you're like, okay, well, how do we get there? Well, it's very closed off from the rest of the island on purpose because the rich people live there. And you get to it by taking the subway. It's a pipe. It's just a pipe. And then you're in the rich part of town. So first of all, you know, you get in here. This is the overlook. Great. We love her. You can come up here to this little rooftop garden. Again, there's plant life. There's greenery here. This is like the nice part of town, right? It's all white and blue and gray. And it's different from like the rusty and like the rundown and like wood and stuff. And like it's very full of like stuff. Use a bunch of wide display stands to make buildings. This part made me want to die. No, I liked making the first half of it. I hated making the second half of it because I was just sick of doing it. I think it looks good in the end. Getting there was a journey. And this is like a cute little park moment area here. You can come back here. This is a hidden ramen restaurant. This is how it's gonna be. This is how it's gonna be. I upload the dream address already. Y'all, I can't fix this. So imagine this with metal grating and not grass. You'll see why there's grass in a second. Okay, and then over here, this is like the museum because like I like the idea of like art and culture being like kept for the upper class. It's a dystopia though, so it's a future. Don't worry guys, it's not here yet. And then we can go up here. This is Hippo's house. So Hippo's like the big bad. Like Hippo's like the tacky, over the top villain. And he like is the richest person in this town. He runs all of the enterprise. He like owned the factory to like just, you know, because he like owns stuff. He just has money. He just throws it around. He's gaudy, okay? He's got gold everywhere. He's got a freaking fountain in the middle of winter. How is it running? I don't know. Okay, thermodynamics or something. Yeah. But like gaudy, disgusting. And then down here, this is like a little park. And see, there are 2 apple trees on Auna, the island of apples. And they are both in the rich neighborhood. One is next to Hippo's house and one is right here. And that was very much on purpose. Okay? So then also like back here, it's like, this is like a power station. You can't really get over there. So it was just like satellites and things. And then over here, this is Ione's house or Ione. I don't fucking know. Okay? Y'all keep telling me it's a different way. I think it's Ione. I'm gonna say Ione. So Ione is up here and she's the nice one. Okay? She's the nice rich one. She's rich, but she's nice. She has this lovely green grass like house area over here, and it's like kind of unnatural because it's like snow, so like how she have the grass. And then this was really inspired by like the Parasite house, how like you walked up from this street and then you were in this like oasis, like away from everything. So this feels very like removed from the hubbub of the city around it, and it's like unnaturally green and stuff, and it's cute. Yeah. I mean, it's not cute, it's like bad. But yeah. So here's where things get a little dark. Because I just can't help but make like slightly dark Animal Crossing islands. It's in my nature. So as we go down here, this is like a construction area, by the way, like, oh, they're building a building, whatever. This is my house. So on the first floor, it's like a speakeasy, weird kind of bar. I was kind of like imagining like, it's kind of like an oxygen bar. It's like a playground for the rich and powerful, essentially, over here. And then if we go upstairs, there's like this weird smoke coming. There's all these like little beds, and it's like, okay, what is this for? What is this? This is where it gets a little dark, and that's in the basement, which is where most things get dark. So this is where we kind of find out where Ribot went, because the rich people like Hippo and stuff, they're like kidnapping the robots and harvesting their parts for like cybernetic enhancements. And there's like a whole black market being run out of this place. So not great, Bob. That's kind of where the darkness, that's how dark it gets. It gets darker. So back here, this is like a power plant. This was the last big build that I did, and I love this build. This is like one of my favorite areas on the island, the power plant. And then it comes back here, and this is like the black market. This is the back end. This is why the harbor is losing money, because everything's coming through here now, because they don't want anyone to know what they're doing with the robot parts, but that's what they're exporting. So they don't want it to go through the harbor, so they have to put it through this sketchy back area. And like, if this were a movie, we'd be going along. We're rooting for our robot, rebels, revolutionaries, whatever. They meet Ione, and Ione's like very nice. And then it gets dark, and you realize Ione's glowing, and you're like, Ione, how do you glow? And she's like, oh, I just went to this nice doctor, and he helped give me some enhancements. And you realize that Ione can glow because she benefited from the harvesting. It's wild. Ah, yeah, that's the movie. Maybe I'll make that movie. Maybe I'll write that movie. Hey, away we go. But that is Auna. That's my island. That's the Dystopia core island I came up with. It was a labor, definitely, at the end. I definitely was like, the last few weeks, I have definitely been like, I just want to be done with this. And there were moments where I was like ready to throw the towel in and just be like, I'm just going to restart it. But, I knew what the ending needed to be. And there was just like a couple more things I needed to do. I just said, listen, let me just focus and let me just get it done. And I just like kind of like pushed to get it done. And I'm very happy that I did. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour. And now I'm very excited to reset this island and get started on Howl's Moving Castle core. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, so you can see the next island. You can see the Howl's Moving Castle island, which is still gonna be rusty, but the grass is gonna be green. If you watch the end, let me know by answering the question down below. What is something that you wanna build on your island next? That's it, that's the video. That's Auna, and I guess now all that's left is, all right, bye.